Romanticism can be beautiful, but it can also be dangerous. It can lead to discovery of unknown worlds, or to complete darkness. In our first episode we talked about C.S. Lewis and his uplifting, hopeful vision. Today we step into much darker territory, the realm of Edgar Allan Poe, when romantic longing turns into madness and death. Poe shows us that the line between dreams and obsession is very thin. His characters often long for something unattainable, but instead of finding peace, they fall into abyss of insanity. When reading Poe, I often feel chills. The tension in the telltale heart keeps me on edge as I follow the narrator's paranoia. He was convinced that he could hear the ticking of a dead man's heart, a sound he believed not only he could hear. Can romantic longing be dangerous? In Poe's vision, the answer is a resounding yes. Who was Poe and why was his romanticism any different? Edgar Allan Poe didn't write classic fantasy, but his works contain many elements that later influenced fantasy literature. Gothic themes, melancholy, and a sense of the uncanny fill his stories, creating an atmosphere of horror when reality and illusion blend together in an unsettling ways. As Polish poet Bolesław Leśmian said, independence, distinctiveness, and a refusal to be submissive in a character offends anyone with socially bowed neck. Poe's stories tap into deep fears, death, madness, loneliness. In his works, characters often battle not only external threats, but also their own minds. Their obsession leads them to destruction, and the world around them transforms into nightmare. In The Pit and the Pendulum, we follow a prisoner trapped in the darkness, watching as a razor-sharp blade slowly descends to kill him. The unavoidable possibility of death and his helplessness make the reader feel his horror. We can relate to his growing insanity, almost sensing this damp, suffocating air of his dungeon. Poe explored ideas that later appeared in darker branches of fantasy, sinister houses that seems alive, an obsession with death, and characters on the brink of madness. His work also inspired horror and dark fantasy writers. Themes of insanity, overwhelming dread, and the supernatural later surfaced in the stories of H.P. Lovecraft, and even in some modern fantasy novels. Lewis saw romanticism as a path to transcendence and a higher reality. Poe, the opposite. For him, the pursuit of ideals often led to self-destruction. These are two extreme perspectives that show the different phases of romanticism in fantasy literature. What makes one writer see romanticism as a journey towards light and other as a descent into darkness? It could stem from their personal experience, but also from deep philosophical differences. Lewis saw meaning and order in the world, while Poe saw chaos and horror. In the next episode, we'll return to Lewis, but from a different angle, exploring how he combined fantasy with Christian symbolism and fairy tale archetype to create the world of Narnia. If you're enjoying this journey, don't forget to hit that sub button and ring the bell. It keeps us going and brings you more stories filled with wonder and imagination. If you love fantasy, I invite you to explore our studio store at rpgfigures.com. We create unique, custom-designed miniatures for fantasy, D&D, and sci-fi fans. Every design is crafted with passion and made exclusively by us. And here's something special for our fellow dreamers. Use the code MAGICSTORIES for 20% off your order.